Alright, so this deck and decks like it really are a testament in my mind to just like kind of how absurd this card is. Like, and in this deck, it's not only Astrolabe that's like helping you play Rainbow, but like you have Mox Opal too. It's playing a couple of Chromatic Stars still. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year, Troll. I appreciate it. Morning Super. So this is at its core a Grixis deck with Thopter Foundry here, and then Battle at the Bridge and some Thoughtseize in the sideboard, and then we've got Goblin Engineer and Galvanic Blast, and then Urza, Lord High Artificer. For those of you that haven't seen the Whirza archetype before, this deck has the Thopter Foundry plus sort of the Meek combo, where you can pay 1 mana to get a 1/1 and gain a life. And then if you add Urza, Lord High Artificer into the mix with both of those, Urza lets the sword tap for a mana, so it goes infinite. You generate an unlimited amount of mana, and an unlimited amount of 1/1s and an unlimited amount of life. This combo can be a little bit tedious to click through on Magic Online. So we don't play this deck a whole lot, but every once in a while is fine. Wouldn't be too surprised. Occasionally when we play decks like this, we'll have a match where we'll be like, well, if this was paper, we'd win, because we'd be able to say we're going to, you know, Graham's number for our health total. But on Magic Online, occasionally you have people that don't concede, which is their right, and you lose a game that you'd otherwise win in paper. Morning, Pelly. Basic forest, you say? How much life do you go to? A lot. How much is a lot? A lot. This deck probably has a pretty okay Ponza matchup. Depends on how much artifact hate they have in the sideboard, I'd venture to guess, but we have a lot of basics. We have Astrolabes and Mox Opals and stuff, so... We have Chromatic Stars, so they're going to have a hard time killing all of our lands or keeping us off of colors. We have a lot of mana sources, a lot of ways to make rainbow mana. Lotus Cobra. Okay, they could be playing the... I think there was a Bring to Kiki deck that was playing a Lotus Cobra recently. Probably less likely to be Ponza with Lotus Cobra, if I had to venture to guess. So up to 5 mana here. Maybe doing something old school like the Sahili Cobra deck. Either I'm late or you're more rested than usual. I mean, we started at 7 a.m. That's when we've been starting recently. Alright, so... I can do this. And then we can technically Urza here, right? I think that's the line. Because Lotus Petal Plus is a fair and reasonable card to be modern legal. And then we can't play Thopter Foundry because we can't both... Oh, I could play Thopter Foundry by tapping this, huh? Is that a good play? I don't know if that's a good play or not. I probably don't want to block this anyways. Yeah, let's make a Thopter Foundry. Sweet. And that draw means I don't have to tap this, and I get a 5/5, which is nice. Very nice. It does mean I don't get to cycle the Bauble this turn, but I feel like that's not a big deal. We're Sword of the Meek away from infinite. Yeah, actually getting reasonable night's sleep is important. Get them 8 hours. Morning Vengeance. Yeah, it's not just the consistency, right? Detroit, like, it's a card that provides consistency while also giving you this extra thing on top of it, right? Because, like, if Astrolabe was just filtering snow mana or just doing, like, single things, it wouldn't really be a big deal. But because it's drawing a card in addition to that or making energy in addition to that, that's what really puts it over the top. I don't really have any experience playing with or against the other deck you're referring to, Scott, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I'd venture to guess that the Whirza decks put up more results for a reason, but I don't have an objective or otherwise metric to say that one's better than the other. Hey, morning, Marty. Moto hasn't quite had his coffee yet this morning, decided to take a nap. And then this is the other kind of messed up thing the Whirza deck does. Like, when you're in these fair matchups like this, you're like, okay, I just get to, like, pay 5 mana and draw cards. Although that one's not very useful since I already played a land for the turn. I think I was right to play. Maybe I should have tapped. Yeah, I guess I should have tapped the Thopter Foundry, huh? And then I could have played this. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. And go ahead and just pass the turn here, I think. We'll crack this Bauble at the end of their turn. Opponent's got a lot of mana, and they've got a lot of card draws now, so I assume we're going to see them start cracking clues if there aren't anything meaningful to play. Yeah, I'm not a big coffee drinker either, Marty. Just does not do it for me. You have a Genesis Wave here. Yep. 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 Well, we're being memed. Would I like to pay 2 life? Yes, because I'm about to get a Sword of the Meek. Triggers. What's currently happening is our combo deck had a very slow draw, and the opponent's meme is getting to go off. Yep. Oh, I guess I should stack these to draw with Lab second. Yeah, because I want less Sword of the Meeks in my... I want less Sword of the Meeks in my deck when I draw. There's 2 of them in here, though, right? I mean, they're pretty lucky they didn't flip me into the combo, right? Oh, they have a bunch of green mana. Huh? No, wait, they don't actually have that much green mana. They have 1, 2, 3 if they Ghost Quarter themselves. I guess they could Ghost Quarter themselves here still. I wasn't thinking about the floating mana with their Field of Ruin. I'm out of artifacts now. That's fine. We drew a second sword in our hand. We actually combo them when we untap, right? And this used up all their mana. So, yeah, seems fine. So, they exiled my sword, but next turn I just go Urza plus sword. They get a bunch of clues, they get a bunch of life. They don't have any green mana, right? Nope, none. Hey, look, it's a game they could never win in paper, but it doesn't look like they're gonna concede. like a general lesson in like reasonable human empathy, compassion, and then probability as well. Walking up to someone and being like, hey, you look like shit, or hey, you don't look very good. The possible outcomes from that are, one, you are wrong and you're telling that person that they look bad. And two, the possibility is they are feeling bad and then you're just needling them about the fact that they don't feel well. Or option three, this morning, I've been awake for less than an hour and I'm currently being forced to click through being very tedious. This very tedious game state. Can we attack this turn? No, but I get to make an unlimited amount of mana and I get to play my entire deck out. Do we have something in our deck that kills them this turn by when we play our entire deck out? Is that... There isn't an Aether Grid in this game one, right? So normally these decks play like what's it called? A spine or something in the main deck to allow them to kill game one. But we don't actually have anything in our main deck to play game one, right? The way this deck is built, I don't actually have anything that allows me to win the first game. And I'm just going to concede this match because we'd have won, and I don't feel like playing matches that we would have won. If they can Warp World next turn, they aren't dead. Their deck, in paper, they functionally can't win the game anymore, Fat Arid. They can't beat going to X life total. And if they Warp World the next turn, they literally just put us back into a state where they're getting combo killed again. Because we have enough permanence in play where... we can just remake tokens at the end of their turn and then kill them. So just fair warning, I'm willing to take decks like this, but I'm also not willing to sit here and click through matches that we would have won. That, like, we have to then finagle and play weird because Moto is Moto. So, not super worried about the Moto Bucks, not super worried about the exact league result. You can count that match win as a W for the deck, but not gonna waste. My time is more valuable than sitting here for the next 40 minutes while my opponent wins a game, plays a game that they otherwise lost in paper. So. And again, like, they're allowed to sit there and do whatever they want and not concede, right? Like, I'm not saying that, like, they're cheating or they're wrong or whatever you want to say. I'm just highlighting something that you have to understand is a factor with decks like this on Magic Online. In my opinion, if something is legal by the rules of the game, it shouldn't be considered unsportsmanlike. I think a lot of people in my experience use "that's unsportsmanlike" as gatekeeping style material to try and dictate behavior that they want and keep certain people out of the game. I think playing decks like this on Magic Online, you're putting yourself at a distinct disadvantage for the reasons we just described. How would I know the answer to that question, Rook Jackson? Please enlighten me how I could possibly know the answer to that question. I only need one turn to beat them, Sunhouse. And there's plenty of instants and sorceries in my deck, so no, they're not decking me. Because if they Warp World, I'm still going to guarantee to have the combo. Sure, Malus. So again, my deck was likely to win there, but my time is more valuable than that. I get paid per the deck that we stream, and having to do that every single time when our opponent's deterministically dead is like just not worth it. It's not about what can or can't happen. It's about what I'm willing to do while I sit here. Huh? Think I just Thopter Foundry. Is that why I can Serum Visions off the Mox Opal? I don't think I want either of these, right? I'm kind of just looking for a land. So if I hit a land, next turn I go Urza, and then Urza cast Goblin Engineer, and then we combo them. So like if we hit a land, we turn 3 combo them. It's 8:20, and I ran out of things to do 17 minutes ago. Sounds exciting. Land. Hashtag never lucky. You get to go grab a Sword of the Meek here, and then I get to cast Serum Visions. I get set up to potentially turn 4 combo them. If I drew the land, I would get to play Urza Giant, and then Urza makes every artifact tap for mana, and then Astrolabe can filter that blue mana into red mana for the Goblin Engineer, and Goblin Engineer puts Sword of the Meek in the graveyard. And Thopter Foundry, Sword, Urza generates infinite life and infinite Thopters. Arbitrarily large amounts of life and Thopters. You found any Stoneforge Mystic decks that you particularly like? Both Vanafear Blade and the Saheeli deck felt fine. Alright, let's find out if I'm going to get a turn 4. I feel like this build not having, and maybe this is just a Moto concession, hoping people concede to infinite life, but I feel like if I was playing this deck in paper, I would want some kind of card in my deck like a Spine of Isha, so that way when I combo and people think they can beat infinite life or whatever, I can destroy all their permanents. Did my opponent have Splinter Twin first? I think my opponent has Splinter Twin first. Our Splinter Twin opponent, we've lost the Splinter Twin mirror. They've twinned us on turn 4. Flamancipator, thanks for the half-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's almost like a bad joke that this is a deck that we can play in Modern and Splinter Twin isn't legal. It's almost like a bad joke. But Jeff, your deck can also gain a bunch of life, and you could theoretically win this game where your opponent gains a bunch of life. But Jeff, well, kinda, if my opponent's deck has a thing like Spine of Isha, we technically can't win the game where our opponent gains infinite life. I enjoy playing this type of deck in paper a lot. Playing it on Magic Online and having to lose games that should be otherwise guaranteed to win in paper is not particularly enjoyable. Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of people don't want to get through, right? Like they They can't be like, okay, like, this is fine and they're allowed to do this while also being like, I don't want to sit through it and I'm conceding. Actually, this is just the card you should play. No, that's not true because it doesn't have loyalty the turn. Say that this kills them the turn it comes out, but it's not. It needs a turn. It's to spend 1. Yeah, you can't say, for reference, you can't say I'm going infinite in tournament Magic. The correct vernacular is you're going arbitrarily large, and then you're picking a size for your arbitrarily large. This deck is very good. I think this deck is this deck, Valakut, Titan, Tron, and Burn would be my picks for the 4 best decks in the format. Run a Nexus of Fate? Sure. Why not? I'm down for the Nexus. Just something that lets you win the turn you go off when you can draw your whole deck and have infinite mana. I think there should be just like some slot in here. And obviously on Magic Online, like generating that much mana and drawing your whole deck is clock prohibitive. So on Magic Online it doesn't matter. But in paper, if I was playing this archetype, I would want a card to guaranteed kill the turn I combo. Yeah, it seems fine. We'll get to bottom Spire since we have the old Astrolabe here. So, like, as someone with a software background, Foxocon, you really can't solve the loop problem like the opponent. Detecting an unbreakable loop is a very difficult software problem. And the reason why you have to kind of treat it as it has to be an unbreakable loop is because in Magic, your opponent needs to be given the option to disrupt your loop at any point, just by the rules of the game. Yeah, if you solve, yeah, exactly what Rook Jackson said. If you solve that problem, you likely have a few patents and maybe a Nobel Prize. Is people again assume things related to software are always easy when generally speaking they are never easy. XKCD is always relevant. Relevant links are always welcome in my chat. Why are you asking me to pay 1, Mono? Oh, improvise. Got it. Gonna get my Sword of the Meek now. It's my sword. This is my sword. I'm gonna be sad if they go Mox Opal Urza that I didn't thought sees them, but... Yep. Oh, that's awkward. Guess I should have used my fetch, huh? That's really unfortunate. I can't cast my Urza anymore now. Karn, the Great Creator. God bless you, little Thoughtseize. You're the little Thoughtseize that could. And for reference, this prevents me from searching my library, so this fetch is now off. That's something to keep in mind for the post-board games. Or for the third game when I want to prioritize time sequencing my mana. Yeah, sure. Sure. What a reasonable and realistic draw. If I draw Urza, I can't cast it, Tom. This land doesn't make mana. Until you have lived life as a statue, do not talk to me of pigeons. Yep, ain't that the truth? Karn's seen some crap in the most literal sense. Karn has seen some crap. Man, so the dashboard, God, Moto is. I was gonna talk about Twitch being bad software as Moto's crashing. So let me share some Twitch being bad software here for a moment. So, on Twitch, it tracks your ad breaks. So you can see what your average ad time per hour is for your stream. And right here on my Twitch stats, it tells me I've currently been live for 36 minutes, which is accurate. I've been live for almost 37 minutes. Over here, though, on the ad break section, it says my current time streamed is 5 minutes. So I would really be curious to know how this number is correct and this number is randomly wrong most of the time. Dear Twitch, why do these numbers not match? It's only been 5 minutes, it just feels like 30, right? Sorry, I'm reloading Moto now since Moto crashed again. It's just a guess. We're just swagging it. Oh, it's keeping track of the Moto clock. That would make sense, because I can type in the Moto clock, so having the Moto clock track somewhere else makes a lot of sense. I think you should never play a deck in Modern because you think it's well positioned. I think you should play decks in Modern because they have linear, proactive game plans. I think Grixis Shadow qualifies as a deck that has a linear, proactive game plan. All right, and we've been Splinter Twinned. Good games. Now, there was a lot of wistful thinking, Rook Jackson. And there was like that first week where a bunch of people like played bad Stoneforge Mystic decks for the most part. But then, you know, people quickly realized that like Valakutting people and Troning people is still a thing that you get to do. Yeah, I think Hardened Scales is great. In my opinion, the thing you should look for in a Modern deck is, can your deck... Your Modern deck needs to do one of two things. It needs to either sometimes Goldfish a turn 3 kill, or it has to have some amount of interaction in it to consistently interact with the decks that are turn 3 Goldfishing you, so you can disrupt them before you kill them. Those are the two bars you need to clear. Like, there's other loose metrics and like card quality and like how power level of the things you're doing, etc. Past that. But in general, you either need to be reasonably interactive or Goldfishing turn 3 kills sometimes. In my opinion, the best decks in Modern meet both of those metrics. Like this deck, for instance, sometimes it just gains an arbitrarily large amount of life on turn 3, but it also has things like Galvanic Blast and Ensnaring Bridge and Pyrite Spellbomb and Pithing Needle and Whir to find them. So like this deck and decks like Burn and decks like Tron, these decks all effectively win the game on turn 3 some amount of the time, or literally win the game on turn 3, but also have small amounts of interaction. Yeah, I think Dredge is a great deck. Actually, hot take. Hot take. You ready for a blisteringly hot take, chat? Dredge is better post-Faithless Looting ban than it was when Hogok was legal. That's Hoagland's hot take of the morning. If they're playing Burn, I'm going to be sad that I bought him the Galvanic Blast. No Kappa. Dredge is not particularly good when all of your opponents are packing 6+ sideboard hate cards. It's just not. Looks like Amulet Titan. Mishra's Bauble is actually a sweet pickup here because it lets me have 2 mana on turn 1 because that's fair and reasonable. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. Bottoms up here. Our hand's a little medium at the moment. Doesn't really do anything. I guess Goblin Engineer, theoretically, if it can live and we don't die, it can swap out the Thopter Foundry. Okay, bud, hold on. That darn Netflix. Of course he's still there. What kind of stupid question is that? Where else would he be? Oh. Oh. What a fun Magic experience. I'm glad all of you could be here with me today to experience the joys of Magic the Gathering. Whew! Whew! They decided they wanted to lose to Galvanic Blast. God bless us, everyone. Thank you, opponent. You the real MVP. I appreciate the chance I have been given here today. I don't know that my deck's gonna do a whole lot with it, but I appreciate the option to have a chance. Who's ready for the second card? I know I am. No Lava, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Thanks, Lava. We are the champions of the rivals. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Opponent also appears to be in tire spinning mode, so that's nice. All right. Daddy's home, chat. Daddy's home. Yeah, so we're getting Pact negated. That's what we're doing. We're getting Pact negated. Excellent. Excellent. Getting Pact negated. Just like we drew it up. There is a 4-year-old. I should probably close the door. It's loud. My wife must be heading into work late today. Generally, she leaves right after my oldest gets on the bus. Four-year-old Dwight's background is also... While some don't mind it, I'm sure, it's definitely less than ideal. Alright. Let's cycle the Spellbomb again here. The Screaming Toddler days. I don't miss the Screaming Toddler days. The kids are more fun as they get older to like actually play games, have conversations. Tiny, angry, incoherent creatures. Not my cup of tea. Alright, come at me, 1-power creatures. This land makes 2 mana. Is what you're missing if you're uncertain how my opponent did the pack thing. Like, teach him how to play Tron. Yeah, Tron will probably be his first deck. Actually, that's not true. Hopefully Historic will be alive and kicking by the time my kids are ready to play Tournament Magic. They won't have to experience or suffer through Modern. Guy who deals with Twitch chat 6 hours a day. Listen, Burgle. I would be willing to bet money that tiny is not a descriptor that applies to most of Twitch chat. I would be willing to bet money that tiny is not a descriptor you can apply to most of Twitch chat. Vertically or horizontally? Yes. Alright, activate my guy that draws cards. Oh, look, it's an engineer. Could I have tapped differently to get this Foundry back this turn? I think so. Which is awkward. I could have tapped this and left this up. Yeah. I could have left this up. Yes, if I tap better here, I could have played to the out of drawing Engineer and hitting the Thopter Foundry. Now they're gonna have a chance to hit Bajuka Bog. Bojuka Bog. Yeah, see, some members of Twitch chat are just tall. Tall people are not tiny. Yeah, we could have effectively won on the spot if I tap better. Having the 3/3 untap doesn't really matter. Oh no, did they finally find a Titan? Would have been better to just wait then. No, Urza's 5-mana thing doesn't beat timing restrictions, so you have to cast them at their normal times. So it looks like we're gonna lose here. Yeah, they drew Primeval Titan. So we lost this game because I tapped my things wrong. So again, if I'd have tapped this for the 5th mana instead of this, I'd have been able to do the thing. Yeah, exactly. You never make tapping mistakes when you tap manually. It's always the auto tapper's fault, right? No, they're gonna get Bojuka Bog, and both my swords are in the bin. Is the issue? Maybe that's the issue. Some aren't main decking Bog. That's aggressive. What are we backing for? Like just second Titan? Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till they bog us. If you have a bog opponent, bog me and I will concede. Yeah, maybe Foxconn. Oh, can they... They can attack with both of these, actually, right? So they're going to get Garrison plus Slayer Stronghold, and they'll give 1 haste, and they'll bounce the Slayer Stronghold to their hand, and then Tribe Scout replays the Slayer Stronghold, and they have red-white here. So yeah, so we're actually dead this turn. Right? Do I have enough blockers? No, I don't. Yeah, they're gonna attack with 2 Primeval Titans. And again, if I think about the out of Goblin Engineer, we would have comboed them last turn with a different tapping of our mana. Stream sniping punishable at MTGO? No. Stream sniping is not explicitly disallowed on any Magic platform. It's a Thoughtseize matchup. It's definitely a Magus, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy matchup. I feel like Thoughtseize and Nature's Claim might be overboarding. I guess I do really need to take Karn though, huh? So here's the thing, silly cheese. This is what you're doing here is what I like to refer to as a bad faith argument. How does one monitor stream sniping? There's lots of things in the Magic Online terms of service that are completely untrackable and unmonitorable that are explicitly against the rules. Like, did you know it's against the Magic Online terms of service to play with your friend sitting next to you giving you advice? This is supposed to be an individual game. So the argument of you can't put it's against the rules to stream snipe in the terms of service because you can't enforce it, that's not true. You could in fact, if you didn't want it done, put it in the terms of service that you don't want this to happen. Yeah, there's a loose. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how the legal interpretation of the exact wording they have in there works out, so I'm not going to say it definitely is or isn't against the terms of service. I would recommend consulting an actual lawyer on that. Let's play Serum Visions actually, right? Dig a little deeper. Yeah, are you 18 years old? Please click here, right? Like, nothing, lots of things are not enforceable. I think I'm just in for both of these, actually, right? I was born in 1901, source Steam asking me every time. Yeah, and there's also things that are like written in the Moto TOS that are like, it's very obvious that they don't enforce it even though it says it's not against the rules. Like, for example, this is what a lot of people don't know. Did you know it's against the Magic Online terms of service to buy and sell Magic Online cards for cash? That's explicitly disallowed. And before anybody says anything, yes, one of my sponsors, literally their entire business is buying and selling Magic Online cards. And there's multiple companies that do that. And I'm sure Wizards is painfully aware of that. I'm also sure that's one of the reasons why when people talked about Arena, like having a different model than Magic Online, I'm fairly sure that the reason Magic Online hasn't had issues with that is security through obscurity. I'm confident. I would bet you that you can't buy and sell these items for cash NRQ is to avoid so they don't run amok of gambling laws. I would bet it's so they don't run amok of gambling laws. MTG jail, is that block constructed? Asking the real questions. I'm just gonna pass here. Passing lets me trophy a Karn if they play one, which is nice. I work in cybersecurity. Half my contracts are just so checkboxes can be checked off. I agree, LF8 Gaming. Playing constructed on Magic Online would be difficult to the point of impossible without companies and bot chains. Do not cheat, steal, or defraud Wizards or other players. That's great, troll. Yeah, and I mean, Arena's constructed in a way to make the secondary market not necessary. Oh, speaking of secondary markets and Arena and hashtag screw MTG Finance. Did y'all see the fetch land that got spoiled yesterday? This fetch land's so awkward. Like, they spoiled a fetch land for standard. So, like, for reference, this card is a 4... No, it's not meh. This card is a 4 of in every non-aggressive deck in standard that's 2 or more colors. And honestly, you probably want this in aggressive decks too. It's an evolving wild where it comes into play untapped on turns 4 and later. Now here's an interesting thing about this card. So this card, cards like this where you have one rare that goes into fixing in lots of different decks is good for the arena economy, but it's bad for paper, right? So like in paper, that card's gonna be absurdly expensive because it's very likely to be a 4 of in every multicolored deck. On Arena, however, it actually saves people money because you spend 4 rare wild cards and now you have this card for all your decks, right? So while they've talked about, yeah, it's really a win-win. So that's why people are talking about. People have talked about there not being shuffle effects in the past. Mark Rosewater has. So one of the things to think about is that the almighty dollar trumps everything, right? So like, even if the design people don't like shuffling, that card is gonna sell a lot of booster packs in paper because it's a rare that's a 4 of in almost everything. I do have a Pithing Needle, and we could have word for Pithing Needle before they picked up the Teleria West. It's definitely something that could have happened. How can you explain to me how monocolored super heavily incentivized? It feels like they're incentivizing you not to play 80 colors, but I feel like, can I work for a bridge here? I can work for a bridge, right? That's gonna be the plan, is work for a bridge. Blue 3. No, we can't automate that, Foxicon. We are in match, this is match 3. We're down a game. So Magic Online doesn't have any automatic ties in like Arena does to, automate progression and stuff like that. Fable Patch is sold out at $10 in SCG. Yeah, that's the floor. It's gonna be, a card's gonna be before that card rotates, it's gonna see a significantly higher price tag than $10. But those utility lands don't just go into monocolored decks. Like those utility lands go into every deck with those colors, basically. You only need one swamp to make the utility land come into play untapped, right? Yeah, it's gonna be a $20 fetch land in standard. And if historic catches on, it'll be expensive because of that format too. So, do I Whir for Needle to stop the Teleria West? I probably can't, right? I guess if I get Bridge, they're just, yeah, it's awkward. So I think I'm just supposed to Whir for Needle here. But I have this Primeval Titan I can't deal with at the moment. The problem with just getting Bridge is they're going to pick this up, and then they're going to Teleria West for a Pact, and Pact for a way to destroy my thing. So I think I'm just supposed to get Needle and name Teleria West. I should have done this last turn, is what I should have done. All of the utility lands are good. Passage is not modern playable. Modern's a really fast, brutal format. You can't put your lands into play tapped in Modern. All right, we're not gonna beat Karn from this position. Well, that felt awful. Playing artifact decks against the 4 main deck Karn Great Creator is not a good scene. We would have won the first game in that set, but no guarantee that we win any more than that. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to take this deck again. I think this deck's obviously very good, and I think it's probably one of the better decks in the format, but playing through it on Magic Online is just incredibly tedious. Your Oath through the Urza, can we conclude this deck is worse than Devoted Druid? It's just as bad. Just as bad. In the deck's defense, the Druid deck, in this deck's defense, the Devoted Druid deck, we basically always lose and didn't have any other plays. In this deck's defense, if I had played better, we'd have won 1 or 2 of those matches. Sure, if you wanna cut that in, Scholar, that'd be fine. We can make that happen. Hey, Torcat, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think I'm just in for both of these, huh? Peer through depths, probably Twiddlestorm. Wellspring is so odd to me in this deck. Can you explain why? Wellspring synergizes with both Thopter Foundry and Goblin Engineer. Not Twiddlestorm? So I think we have enough to combo them next turn on 4. Just like Splinter Twin them on 4. Yeah, maybe just Kai Twiddle. Could also be a Broom. That's also true. 0-3 bracket could be literal anything. All right. Search for Splinter Twin. Attempt to twin you. Enter the battlefield. Yeah, right. Cast my 4-mana spell that's actually free. Hey, similar. Thanks for the support. Oh, the good nuts coming in hot with that tier 3. Thank you very much and welcome. Scholar coming in blazing with the $100 cut the line tip. We're going to pivot for the second deck of the day. All right. I'm going to put them on Twiddle Storm. So I'm going to board in these Magus of the Moons. They might be doing something else. We'll find out. Let's find out together, shall we? And good nuts, remember for your tier 3, you're welcome to submit standard build rounds too, so anything from the new set that's piqued your interest. I'm happy to build something around a card or cards of your choosing. You also submit specific standard or modern lists as always. Maybe they're just playing some kind of weird control deck. Astrolabe, doing whatever an Astrolabe can. Do 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 do. I can't believe this question was ignored. How are we immortalized the owl dad yelling at Watsy Beam? I don't know. A thousand air. They gave us many digits of dollars. Speaking of dollars, people were asking yesterday what we're gonna do with our pile of prize money, and I guess there's people here that don't follow me on Twitter. And I guess if you don't use Twitter, more power to you, because Twitter's crap. But we took a chunk of it and we did some good with it. So we sent St. Jude some money last night. The rest of it's gonna go to boring adult stuff, but I firmly believe in putting money where my mouth is. St. Jude does good work, and they make sure kids get taken care of regardless of their family's ability to pay. First place was $5,000. Nah, St. Jude and places like it would still exist with social items carrot driven. They just wouldn't be the only place people can get medicine from if they can't afford it and get care for their kids. St. Jude does a lot of important research stuff too. They do more than just provide care for people who can't afford it. Yeah. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Keep the tires spinning. Doo-doo. I have one Teferi in my deck, right? This is naming Whir. So I have one copy of Teferi in my deck that can bounce this. Yeah. Yeah, the word socialism in general is used poorly in the United States. It's used largely as a scare tactic. To scare people who aren't terribly bright into voting Republican. Yes, that is the you can't lose angel. We have lots of things you could jump up and down and yell are socialist in the United States. We call lots of important things like public education. How about the roads you drive on? How about the police and fire department? Libraries. Having a society where people can help each other and depend on each other is a good thing. giving bailouts to farmers after the orange dictator they voted for gave them awful trade deals and ruined their business. That's also socialism. Nice. Nice. Ain't even mad, kind of impressed. The 03 bracket is wild. You lose, except when you don't. Except when you don't. That's dead, right? They attack us for 6, they attack us for 8. All right. Galvanic Blast and Assassin Trophy's coming back in. That's one of the big reasons that Warren is my favorite of the 3 leading Democratic candidates is her descriptions of like how and why we do the things, like her wealth tax is just so well described. Like comparing a wealth tax to property taxes is just really elegant, right? Like property taxes are effectively a wealth style tax on people who are middle class, right? On anybody who can manage to own a house. So like, leveraging a similar tax on people who have piles of money hidden away in accounts they're not doing anything with, they're just making more money on, makes a lot of sense. Taxing yachts and other big luxury items that are more expensive than houses makes a lot of sense. I don't think Nature's Claim makes all their... Oh, Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, Cage is good. Good call. I think Battle at the Bridge is probably a little narrow. I think Trophy, Blast, and Time Raveler are fine. Regardless of how you feel individually about Yang's proposed solutions to the idea, to the problems he's talking about, the problems that Yang is talking about are very real and very important to have someone on a large stage talking about them. I think what Yang's done in this election cycle is a success in and of itself in bringing the forefront of, hey, the automation is coming to Americans' minds. Yang, because I always believe in transparency, which is why I'd make a bad politician. Yang, Buttigieg, and Warren are the 3 people I've given donations to this election cycle of the primary candidates. I'd be pretty happy with anybody relatively progressive. What exactly was said? Yang's been talking a lot about how we're going to lose a lot of jobs over the next couple of decades, or even just in the next decade, to automation. Retail jobs, truck drivers, things of that nature are all going to be replaced by computers. that's fear-mongering. That's kind of fear-mongering to a degree there, Larry. Because while the DNC made a huge mistake in the last election cycle, they also changed things because of the bad they did. So they fundamentally changed how superdelegates work between 2016 and 2020. I mean, nobody has solutions to everything. And anybody who tells you they have solutions to everything is lying to you, hoping that you're stupid. All change and progress is incremental. I should have attacked with this. That's a really interesting thought. My 2 cents, I never really understand the use of government. Since joining the stream, I have a better idea, and that's from an outsider view. That's good feedback, Silly Cheese. That's a really weird trade. All right, so I'm actually going to play this Chromatic Star here. And the reason to put more artifacts into play is it allows me to play around something like Surgical Extraction. Yeah, that's also true, Draven. Like, if the Senate doesn't flip in 2020, even if a Democrat's elected to the White House, they're not going to be able to get much done. So, one of the results from the failure that is the two-party system in the United States, and this is kind of a struggle you see in the Democratic primary right now, on the stack, thanks for the 16 months, I appreciate that, welcome back. The Republican Party, the GOP, has run so far to the right into literal fascism that the left, or the Democrat Party more specifically, has been stuck trying to represent lots of different positions. So you have people like Joe Biden who aren't progressive and are center at best or center right at worst running as a Democrat. And you also have people like Bernie and Warren who qualify as actual progressives and left leaning, right? In my mind, one of the most important distinctions between the two political parties, and someone can please cite a source and correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the things that really draws me to the Democratic Party as a whole are the number of people, and I think this highlights the struggle of that party trying to represent people in the middle and people on the left, is look at the number of Democrats who are trying to do their best to primary other Democrats. The number of Democratic candidates who are running on progressive platforms who are trying to primary corporate Democrats effectively. I should have cycled this before I should have cycled that before I did my thing for the turn. Why didn't we get Foundry with Engineer? Playing Urza is better, right? You think playing Urza is worse than getting Foundry with Engineer? I guess I could have set that up. I should have cycled for red, maybe. I don't know. I think playing Urza is better than playing this and searching up the other thing. We have, someone said, why don't we have a Green Party in the United States? Votes for the Green Party are a large part of why Trump got elected in 2016. Just for reference. Yeah, that's... We definitely could use ranked choice voting in the United States. That would be ideal. And that's a thing that ideally should change. All right, opponents conceding to infinite. Yay. With a three-party system, a candidate could win without winning a majority of the votes. Yeah, that's why ranked choice voting is important. Oh, you're saying I already had Foundry in the yard? Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're right, I already had one in the yard. It doesn't matter. All roads led to Rome, right? Correct, Brave Earth. I think the Electoral College should be removed and replaced with direct representation. I do. What's ranked choice voting for the uninitiated? Ranked choice voting is something that makes infinite sense for everybody except the people currently in power. So there's a few different iterations of there's a few different ways you can implement ranked choice voting, but what ranked choice voting basically means is you don't just pick the person you want to win, you list all of the candidates from 1 until n for however many candidates that you are. So you say, this is my first choice, this is my second choice, this is my third choice, this is my fourth choice. And depending on which variation you use, how they get tallied from there varies slightly, but in general, the TLDR is that if the first choice person that you vote for only gets the least amount of votes and no one gets a majority of the votes, they throw out all of the votes for the person who only got like 2% of the votes, and then they go to those people's second choice and they retally, and they do that until someone has an actual majority. It's a system that allows for people to vote for third-party candidates and smaller candidates without throwing their vote away. It allows people to be like, I want to vote for the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, but in the event that those parties don't win and they're realistically not winning at the moment, I want my vote to go to Democrat instead of Republican, or Republican instead of Democrat. Yeah, ranked choice voting is great. One of those things. There's a couple of local governments that use it, from my understanding, but nobody uses it at the state level, I don't believe. It does all of Maine use it? Okay, cool. Maine in the next election. God bless. I think that's a bad faith argument, Thorben. I think that's making wild speculation. I also think our election turnouts are already bad, but that's a separate issue. And if you want feedback on another one of those things that really shows you which party has democracy and your best interests at heart, Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, he referred to paper voting machines as a partisan issue. Paper voting machines, paper voting. He referred to paper ballots as a partisan issue. And he made that statement shortly after taking money from companies that make voting machines. It's paper ballots are not a partisan issue for people that don't understand what I'm saying. It's paper ballots are a security option, and ensuring that elections are secure and untampered with and encouraging more people to vote is generally bad for Republicans, because when people vote, Republicans tend to lose. Even if your state is deep red, you should vote in every election, because there's a chance your local government is not deep red, and local government is also very important. I think we're dying. I need Mausoleum Wanderer with this, so we can cast the Whir later a little bit easier. They have another Spell Queller, we're probably dead here. Could be a Coco. Spin to win. Spin to win. Spin to win. Alright, please rearrange the bottom 6 cards of your deck. All right, so does this Whir keep us alive? Oh, I can Whir for Bridge. Yeah, we totally can. Good call. And there's a chance they might just be cold to that game 1, right? No, Pithing Needle's on Mausoleum Wanderer. Because I am smart and thin. Let's make this bigger so we don't get a misclick, huh? Yeah, for sure, Demir Spy. Links to help people educate themselves are always welcome here. All right, time to get the old hand empty here. Yeah, anything can be vulnerable to election fraud, Bill Nye, obviously. But the important distinction there is, imagine if the NC election fraud happened digitally. It's much easier to follow a paper trail. It's much easier to figure out, hey, something wrong happened here with a paper trail. Also, if you've never doubted the power of stupid people in large numbers, consider the fact that the people of NC voted for the party that committed election fraud when they ran the second election. All right, I think I want to just activate Urza here. They're just like looking for a... I probably should have done this before using the engineer, because like if I find a sword here... Should get everyone in one place who wants to vote and raise hands. Yeah, solid idea. Agree. There are a ton of great McConnell memes going around right now. I have a hot take on the new fetch. Yeah, we actually talked about it earlier this league. Card's going to be a 4 of in every 2 or 3 color deck. It's very, very good. How are we doing so far? We're doing all right. We're 1-3 in this league. If I had played the deck better, I think we would be 3-1. But you know, them's the beats when you're stupid like I am. Thanks for the 7 months, Terminator. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Grandpa Mason, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. In my defense, just to clarify if people weren't here earlier, I messed up one of the matches we lost. The other match we conceded because we had them dead to the combo and I just didn't want to click through it on Magic Online. So one of the matches was a mistake. The other one was this is Moto and Jeff's tired of doing Moto stuff. When will the Democratic candidate be chosen? When is the primary? I should know the answer to that. But I don't offhand. Is it not till the summer? I'm pretty sure it was forever from now is the answer, but... It's really cool if you bought a Black Lotus. Gonna firm pass on the Black Lotus. I actually, speaking of, if for people that don't follow me on Twitter, I took a chunk of the money that I made in the tournament and donated it. Do some good with the Magic Dollar dues. Yep. I bet they have, someone said they have deputy detention most likely. I bet that's the case. Need to find my way to a Sword of the Meek before my opponent finds their way to a deputy. That card's absurd. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it in every format that is legal. Brazen Borrower and I are gonna get a lot of screen time together, chat. Alright, so we're gonna block with this Thopter. And then we're gonna swap it out for an Ichor Wellspring. You can't evaluate the power level of Magic cards in a vacuum. It just doesn't work. Should I be in favor of reprinting Old Fetch at this point? No. Fetches suck. I would be willing to bet significant amount of dollars that part of the reason why we saw that fetch land printed in this set is because it's going to sell a lot of booster packs. And maybe that's the reason we'll eventually see fetches reprinted again in general. But that card's going to sell, that card being there is going to sell a lot of packs. Oh, I can pop fair. Duh. Thank you. I'm not used to my lands being demonic tutor, chat. Alright, opponent's conceding to Splinter Twin. So again, for people that are new to this deck, Sword plus Thopter Foundry plus Urza goes infinite. Infinite 1/1's infinite life. Alright, post board, we want some more interaction, I think. Abrupt Decay and Trophy sound good. Battle at the Bridge sounds great. It's weird not having any more actual bridges. Definitely don't need Pithing Needle or Nihil Spellbomb. Do I want... Is Pyrite Spellbomb worth keeping in here? Cage for Company. Cage for Company's probably fine. Company's one of their better cards. And we can, like, whir for Cage in response to a Company. This is a Time Raveler out matchup. I feel like I'm going to have a hard time protecting him, even if shutting off their flashy stuff is good. Is Magus good enough? I don't think so. Because, like, they have Noble Hierarch and they can fetch basics. I feel like Magus is frequently not going to do enough. Maybe I just like trim a Serum Visions because it's filler. I don't hate that. Yeah, let's just do that. Tezzeret's for the grindy matchups, I'd imagine. Ones where you're trying to generate card advantage. Yeah, Astrolabe and Mox Opal are basically just like a get out of jail free card, do whatever you want with your mana. I think this hand's too slow. Doesn't really do anything. And see, chat, now this hand, chat, this hand could be literal anything. Even a boat. I don't know what this hand does, do you? We have so many mystery cards. Mystery cards, cards, do 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 do. Do. Mox Opal is such a fair and reasonable Magic card. I'm really glad that Wizards of the Coast continues to leave it legal in the format. It's definitely something that's incredibly healthy and reasonable. We're gonna top both of these here. I had a Bauble in play. I cycled Bauble. I think I just go get Thopter Foundry here. Or do I just get Bridge? Do I just get Bridge? Is that crazy? I think it's actually just Bridge. It's gonna take me a hot second to get my hand empty with all these silly... The fact that I have 3 lands in my hand kind of sucks. But like, if their creatures are staying less than 3 power, I probably have enough time to empty my hand, right? Like, they're not killing me in the next few turns, most likely. This is like, it's like getting an uncounterable bridge in a way. Unless they have a removal spell for the engineer. That's incredibly unfortunate. I guess I should so like this is awkward. Do I cast this for X's 5? If I cast this for X's 5, they can't, or X's 4, they can't Spell Queller it, but then it dies to Mausoleum Wanderer. I think I'm okay just killing their Mausoleum Wanderer here. Let's play around Spell Queller. I think I need to cast this turn just because I want to be able to have mana to cast whatever I draw next turn as well. Yeah, if it gets eaten by Spellqueller, it just effectively does nothing, right? Because I can't recast it. Wow, that was a good outcome for us. Deal. Is it crazy to get back Bauble and cycle Bauble here? I feel like that's not crazy. Opinion, Magic the Gathering is getting expensive. Getting expensive. Right, getting expensive. Oh, kids these days. Kids these days. Yikes. If you block someone on Magic Online, it gives you a report option as well. Man, John Avon better watch out, chat. Because we're practicing drawing lands over here. We're coming for his job. Modern decks average at the same level as the net average monthly salary in my country. Yeah, I'd believe that. We need a flood emote? Maybe. Good news is the opponent also has nothing going on over here. Man, Goblin Engineer is like really, really, really impressive this game. Like, I know we're flooding, but he's like drawing us a lot of cards. Magic is pay to win. Yeah. The Magic is pay to win people are special. They're unique individuals that you'll probably never be able to reach with logic or reasoning. All right, you have a spell queller or a company? If you're someone out there who's trying to sway someone who complains about games like Magic being pay to win, you should ask them if they feel games like football are pay to win because you have to buy protective gear to play a game like football reasonably, or if motocross is pay to win because you have to purchase a bike in order to play. Magic as a game is what I would refer to as pay to compete. I have plenty of snowman, huh? Hey, Wonder Guy, thanks for the brand new Prime Sport. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for putting mine this month with that. I wanted to say that I've always been a huge fan, but seeing you donate some of your winnings to a great cause was world class of you. I appreciate you being a fantastic person. Thanks for being here, Wizard. Good to have you. All right, so what are we doing? I think I'm getting Star back, and we're sending an Astrolabe back to the Shadow Realm here. Oh, and then we're going to go ahead and cycle this out. No, I can't predict the future, Dubby. I am very mediocre at predicting the future. That's why I play children's card games. I'm going to try and kill this on their upkeep. Or in response to a collected company. So we want to do this in response. So that way if they find a hexproof lord, they can't protect it. We could theoretically die here, huh? Most of the decks that are good in Standard right now will likely continue to be good in Historic. Is a good TLDR. Look at that. They found a hexproof guy. Glad we got Urza back. And this can copy. I guess this can copy Urza. The Great Hedge is awesome. The Great Hedge is going to be good in all sorts of green decks. The Great Hedge is really sweet with Growth Chamber Guardian because the thing will get a counter on it when it comes in and trigger it right away, right? You find the Whirza deck fun to play. I think I would really enjoy this deck in paper. I think on Magic Online, it's incredibly tedious. Am I dead to a Lord here? I'm dead to another 1-mana guy, right? If they have a third Mausoleum Wanderer here, or land at a 2-drop. Oh, you know what? I should have activated Urza in response to this, because I could have hit a removal spell, right? Okay. That's unfortunate. And again, Urza does not ignore timing restrictions, so... Man, that's unfortunate. So the bridge doesn't even do anything here, because I've just, like, only drawn lands this game. Would you play Careful Study in this deck if it were legal to do so? Probably not. This deck didn't play Faithless Looting when it was legal, so it probably wouldn't play that. Alright, we get to play game 3 on the play. Oh. Alright, so we're dead here. This league's gone really long, and I haven't been paying attention, so I actually need to do a quick ad break between now and the last game. Sorry to keep you in suspense, so... We're gonna pause for a moment while that runs. It's been over 2 hours, and you have a quota to meet. Nope, literally the same as always. It's all in your head. That's fine. The Moto timer gives us almost infinite time, so we'll give it a second here, and then we have 2 minutes while we sideboard. If we had improvised all 3 labs, we wouldn't actually be dead here. Well, you'd be wrong, because that's not how Magic works. You can't improvise for the blue. They can sack both of these and make me counter unless I pay 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The improvise is not Convoke. It can make me pay 6, then I need to make 2 blockers, which I cannot do. I can't pay 6, much less pay 6 and make 2 blockers. Alright, we'll see if we can hopefully dodge the Great Flood for the 3rd game. Yeah, that's true too. Even if it was Convoke, they're not blue artifacts. It's very, very true. MTG Mike, thank you for the keep it on with that tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, Moto actually gives us a full 3 minutes to sideboard, huh? I would not give any card suggestions on this deck list. So, with decks like this, where lots of people who are really good Magic players have spent a lot of time working on them, I would always defer to people who are smarter than me. Thanks, MTG Mike. It does in fact what the ad means. Subs do not see ads. Thanks for the 7 months, Hostage. I appreciate it. Can you explain the Sam Black decision about playing a 61-card Lantern deck and a 14-card sideboard? So, when you have cards like Whir of Invention that lets you search for cards out of your deck in Goblin Engineer, playing an extra bullet in your main deck that you then board down to 60 is not unreasonable. Is there a reason I'm running more ads? Yeah, so esports organizations that have agreements with Twitch in general have an ad requirement baked into their contract with Twitch. So part of joining Fade 2 Karma is that I need to run 2 minutes of Twitch ads per hour, which comes out to a 3-minute ad break every 90 minutes or so, which generally is not a big deal except when we run extra long with a slow modern deck. Usually I just do them between modern decks. Yeah, and some organizations have much better contracts than others. So like Tempo Storm, I split with them because they wanted me to run 6 minutes of ads per hour. So the Fade 2 Karma that I am now a part of, their requirement is a much more reasonable 2 minutes per hour. I'm gonna cycle blue here. You can always find all of the past deck lists that I've streamed on my Stream Decker page. You can also find them in the video descriptions on my YouTube channel. Generally speaking, a 3-minute break every 90 minutes is not bad. Should be doing that for probably a bio break anyway. Speaking of, I should stand up. We've been sitting for 2 hours. That doesn't really matter, right? That's probably annoying enough that I want to kill it, though. I think so. I think we just go Thopter Foundry plus Battle at the Bridge here. So we're able to kill this for X's2. I wonder, you know, I think I might maybe made a mistake here. I think I was supposed to fetch a breeding pool there because I want to be able to trophy a Stony or a Collector Oath without filtering mana through my artifacts. Rest in peace, sure. We just clear this out. Just like waiting on some gas now. Opponent's hand doesn't seem to have a lot going on though, so that's nice. Let's have a bunch of hate cards. We have a lot of live draws at this point. We're like a Splinter Twin deck that has more than just 4 twins to draw to. Yep. I wonder how many spells we've drawn this match. It feels like not many. I feel like the answer is not many. This is where the magic happens. Yeah, we're currently ahead on the scoreboard, right? That's how that works. Hey, that worked. It's exciting. I wonder if they have a path. They're sitting on cards, none of them are Spellcaller. So I assume they have a path. So I activate this. Yep. Yep. Magic is an incredibly skill-based game that in no way resembles gambling, chat. Never forget. In no way. We're like a sword of the Meek away from just like winning this game with a fair sword, though. So, you know, we've got that going for us. So, you will find different iterations of decks on my Stream Decker page. My website always contains my latest preferred version of a given archetype. So we'll frequently try things on stream, and if I like them, they'll make their way onto my website. But if I did not like a given change, it will not make it onto my website. So my website is always my current preferred deck list. Because keep in mind, a lot of the decks we play on stream too are also viewer submissions, so they'll have other people's deck preferences in them as opposed to mine. They have double deputy here. Double deputy kills me this turn. I have to sack the Thopter Foundry to itself here to continue treading water. Is the issue. So unless they like foolishly played their deputy out here and then like are going to like let me draw Ensnaring Bridge, like I don't know why they played this deputy out. Playing the deputy out so they could collect a company like gives me outs to not lose next turn now. Because I have an Ensnaring Bridge and 2 Whirs that can go get Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, so if this targets Thopter, I'm dead. Yeah, so they got pretty lucky after playing sloppy and giving me an out. That's how Magic works sometimes though, right? Like, I don't think there was anything I could really do in this game. This match and the one against the Amulet Titan deck. No, that's not true. I punted against Amulet Titan. This match and something else, we just kind of died. And I don't really think it's the deck's fault. We didn't really draw many spells in these games, and a lot of the spells that we drew were like Mox Opal, so they're like spells. The first match I conceded because we would have won if we were playing paper and our opponent didn't concede to the combo. I didn't feel like clicking it out. I remember what the second was. If you want to go back and watch everything, you can go back and watch everything. As always, with decks like this, where they're really established archetypes, I don't really have feedback on this given deck list. My feedback is always defer to people who are smarter than myself, who have spent a lot of time working on this. So I'd recommend looking at people like Canister and folks who have spent a lot of time playing this archetype and read their articles and look for their feedback. I don't think this is a deck I'm going to play on stream again. It's just really tedious to play on Magic Online in general. So like, even when we're doing well with it, it's still just like not super enjoyable to play and it takes a while to click through. So I think this deck's very good. I think this is probably one of the 4 best decks in Modern, but it's just really, really not my cup of tea, especially when we're playing digitally.